to be.
And then it started like a guilty thing on a fearful summons.
This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any day.
Something is rotten in the state of death.
The serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
But it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in their cowardice.
In that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil? What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Or not to be.
Heads. 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 There is an art to the building up of suspense. Heads. Though it can be done by luck alone. Heads. If that's the word I'm after. The 76 love. Heads. A weaker man might be moved to re-examine his fate, if in nothing else, at least in the law of probability. Heads. The law of probability, it has been oddly asserted, has to do with the proposition that if six monkeys were game, were they? Are you? Game. The law of averages, if I've got this right, means that if six monkeys were thrown up into the air for long enough, they would land on their tails about as often as they would land on their heads. Which at first glance does not strike one as a particularly rewarding speculation in either sense, even without the monkeys. I mean, you wouldn't bet on it. I mean, I would, but you wouldn't. Oh, sorry. Heads. Would you? Heads. Heads. Getting a bit of a bore, isn't it? A bore? Well, what about the suspense? What suspense? It must be the law of diminishing returns. I feel the spell will have to be broken. Well, it was an even chance if my calculations are correct.
85 in a row?
Yes?
Beating the record.
Don't be absurd.
Easily.
Is that it then? Is that all?
What?
A new record. Is that as far as you're prepared to go?
Well,
no questions, not even a pause.
you spun them
Not a
yourself.
glimmer of doubt.
Well, I won, didn't I?
And if you'd lost, if they'd come down against you 85 times in a row, one after the other, just like that.
85 in a row. Tails.
Yes, what would you think?
Well, I'd have a good look at your coins for a start.
I'm relieved. At least we can still count on self-interest as a predictable factor. I suppose it's the last to go. Your capacity for trust made me wonder if perhaps you alone touch. We have been spinning coins together since. This is not the first time we have spun coins.
Oh, no. We've been spinning coins for as long as I remember.
How long is that?
I forget. Mind you, 85 times.
Yes?
It'll take some beating, I imagine.
Is that what you imagine? Is that it? No fear.
Fear.
Fear! The crack that might flood your brain with light!
Heads. I'm afraid.
So am I.
I'm afraid it isn't your day.
I'm afraid it is.
89?
Yes? It must be indicative of something besides the redistribution of wealth. List of possible explanations. One, I'm willing it. Inside where nothing shows, I am the essence of a man spinning double-headed coins and betting against himself in private atonement for an unremembered past. Heads. Two, time has stopped dead. And the single experience of one coin being spun once has repeated itself 90 times. On the whole, doubtful. Three, divine intervention That is to say, a good turn from above concerning him, cf. Children of Israel, or retribution from above concerning me, cf. Lot's wife. 4, a spectacular vindication of the principle that each individual coin, spun individually, is as likely to come down heads as tails, and therefore should cause no great surprise each individual time it does so.
I've never known anything like it.
And a syllogism. 1, he's never known anything like it. 2, he's never known anything to write home about. 3, it is nothing to write home about. Home. What's the first thing that you remember?
Oh, let's see. The first thing that pops into my head, you mean?
No, the first thing that you remember.
No, it's no good. It's gone. It was a long time ago.
You don't take my meaning. What's the first thing after all the things that you've forgotten?
I've forgotten the question.
Are you happy?
What?
Content, at ease.
I suppose so.
What are you going to do now?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I have no desires, none. There was a messenger. That's right, we were sent for. Syllogism the second. 1, probability is a factor which operates within natural forces. 2, probability is not operating as a factor. 3, we are now within un, sub, or supernatural forces. Discuss. Not too heatedly.
I'm sorry. What's the matter with you?
The scientific approach to the examination of phenomena is a defense against the pure emotion of fear. Keep tight hold and continue while there's time. Now, counter to the previous syllogism, a tricky one, follow me carefully, it may prove a comfort. If we postulate, and we just have, that within un, sub, or supernatural forces, the probability is that the law of probability will not operate as a factor, then we must accept that the probability of the first part will not operate as a factor. In which case, the law of probability will operate as a factor within un, sub, or supernatural forces. And since it obviously hasn't been doing so, we can take it that we are not held within un, sub, or supernatural forces after all. In all probability, that is. Which is a great relief to me personally. Which is all very well, except that we have been spinning coins together since I don't know when. And in all that time, if it is all that time, I don't suppose either of us was ever more than a couple of gold pieces up or down. I hope this doesn't sound surprising, because it's very unsurprising. This is something I'm trying to keep a hold of. The equanimity of your average tosser of coins depends upon a law, or rather a tendency, or let us say a probability, or at least a mathematically calculable chance, which ensures that he will not upset himself by losing too much, nor upset his opponent by winning too often. This made for a kind of harmony and a kind of confidence that related the fortuitous and the ordained into a reassuring union which we recognize in nature. The sun came up about as often as it went down in the long run, and coins showed heads about as often as it showed heads. Then a messenger arrived. We had been sent for. Nothing else happened. 92 coins spun consecutively have come down heads 92 consecutive times. And for the last 3 minutes on the wind of a windless day, I have heard the sound of drums and flute.
Another curious scientific phenomenon is the fact that the fingernails grow after death, as does the beard.
What?
The beard.
But you're not dead.
I didn't say they started to grow after death. The fingernails also grow before birth, though not the beard.
What?
Beard! What's the matter with you? The toenails, on the other hand, never grow at all.
The toenails, on the other hand, never grow at all.
Do they? It's a funny thing. I cut my fingernails all the time, and every time I think to cut them, they need cutting. And now, for instance. And yet I never, to the best of my knowledge, cut my toenails. They ought to be curled under my feet by now, but it doesn't happen. I never think about them. Perhaps I cut them absent-mindedly when I'm thinking of something else.
Do you remember the first thing that happened today?
I woke up, I suppose. That's it. God, the man, a foreigner, he woke us up.
A messenger.
That's it. pale sky before dawn. A man standing on his saddle to bang on the shutters shouts, "What's all the row about? Clear off!" But then he called our names. You remember that? This man woke us up.
Yes.
We were sent for.
Yes.
That's why we're here. Traveling!
Yes!
It was urgent. A matter of extreme urgency, a royal summons. In his very words, official business and no questions asked. Lights in the stable yard, saddle up and off, headlong and hot foot across the land. Our guides outstretched in breakneck pursuit of our duty, fearful lest we come too late.
Too late for what?
How should I know? We haven't got there yet.
And what are we doing here, I ask myself.
You might well ask.
We better get on.
You might well think.
We better get on.
Right. On where?
Forward!
Which way did we,
Practically starting from scratch. An awakening. A man standing on his saddle to bang on the shutters. A message, a summons. Our names shouted in a certain dawn. We have not been picked out simply to be abandoned, set loose to find our own way. We are entitled to some direction. I would have thought.
I said.
Yes.
I can hear. I thought I heard music.
Yes.
Like a band. It sounded like a band. Drums.
Yes.
It couldn't have been real.
The colors red, blue, and green are real. The color yellow is a mystical experience shared by everybody. Demolish.
It must have been thunder, like drums.
A man breaking his journey between one place and another place, at a third of no name, character, population, or significance, sees a unicorn cross his path and disappear. That in itself is startling, but there are precedents for mystical encounters of various kinds, or, to be less extreme, a choice of persuasions to put it down to fancy. Until, my God, says the second man, I must be dreaming! I thought I saw a unicorn! At which point, a dimension is added that makes the experience as alarming as it will ever be. A third witness, you understand, adds no further dimension, but only spreads it thinner, and a fourth, thinner still. And the more witnesses there are, the thinner it gets and the more reasonable it becomes, until it is as thin as reality, the name we give to the common experience. Look! Look! Besides the crowd, a horse with an arrow in its forehead! It must have been mistaken for a deer!
Don't move. Perfect. A lucky thing we came along. For us, let us hope so. But to meet two gentlemen on the road, we would not hope to meet them often. No, well met in fact, and just in time.
Why's that?
Why, we grow rusty, and you catch us at the very point of decadence. By this time tomorrow, we may have forgotten everything we ever knew. That's a thought, isn't it? We'll be back where we started, improvising. Oh, tumblers are you? We can give you a tumble if that's your taste, and times being what they are. Otherwise, for a jingle of coin, we can do you a selection of gory romances, full of fine cadence and corpses, pirated from the Italian. And it doesn't take much to make a jingle. Why, even a single coin has music in it. Tragedians, at your command. My name is Guildenstern, and this is Rosencrantz. I'm sorry. His name is Guildenstern, and I'm Rosencrantz.
pleasure. We've played bigger, of course, but quality counts for something. I recognized you at once.
And who are we?
As fellow artists.
I thought we were gentlemen.
For some of us, it is performance. For others, patronage. They are two sides of the same coin. Or, let us say, as there are so many of us, the same side of two coins.
What is your line?
Tragedy, sir. Death and disclosures. Universal and particular. Denouement. Both unexpected and inexorable. Transvestite melodrama. On all levels, including the suggestive. We transport you into a world of intrigue and illusion. Clowns, if you like, murderers! We can do you ghosts and battles on the skirmish level. Heroes, villains, tormented lovers, set pieces in a poetic vein. We can do you rapiers, or rape, or both. By all means, faithless wives, ravished virgins. Love drum day, daily show. Price! But that comes under realism, for which there are special terms. Getting warm, Ella?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it costs little to watch, and little more if you happen to get caught up in the action, if that's your taste. Times being what they are.
What are they?
Indifferent, bad, wicked! Now, what precisely is your pleasure? Disport yourselves. There. See anything you like.
What do they do?
Let your imagination run riot. They are beyond surprise.
And how much?
To take part?
To watch.
Watch what?
A private performance.
How private?
Well, there are only two of us. Is that enough
For an audience disappointing. For voyeurs, about average.
What's the difference?
5 guilders.
5 guilders?
To watch.
Together.
Each. I don't think you understand.
What are you saying?
What am I saying? 4.
Where have you been?
Roundabout! A nest of children carries the custom of the town. Juvenile companies, they are the fashion. But they cannot match our repertoire. We'll stoop to anything, if that's your bent. They'll grow up. There's one board every minute. Onward! Where are you going? Home, sir.
Where from?
Home, here. Traveling people. We take our chances where we find them.
There was chance then.
Chance.
You found us.
Oh, yes.
You were looking.
Oh, no.
Chance then.
Or fate.
Yours or ours.
It could hardly be one without the other.
Fate then.
Oh, yes. We have no control. Tonight, we play to the court